Representative Latta, I welcome your testimony.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair, Mr. Ranking Member, members of the Rules Committee. Thanks for the opportunity to testify before you today. I'm pleased to speak in support of two pieces of legislation, H.R. 1949, Unlocking Our Domestic LNG Potential Act, and H.R. 3109, the Researching Efficient Federal Improvements for Necessary Energy Refining Act. Both bills are aimed at unleashing our nation's natural resources to bolster national security, lower domestic prices for consumers, and supply our allies with critical fuels. Geopolitical events over the last several years have reaffirmed the world's need for American energy. Russia's unprovoked invasion of Ukraine in 2022 led to a reshaping of global energy markets as a significant amount of oil, natural gas, and refined products were immediately sanctioned. In response, American energy producers stepped up to the plate, supplying Europe and other allies around the world with critical energy. In fact, the United States was the largest supplier of liquefied natural gas to Europe in 2023. Not only has US LNG helped stabilize global markets, but has also decreased costs for domestic consumers and supported thousands of American jobs. In fact, in just a few years, the U.S. has increased its LNG export capacity from 0 to 11.6 billion cubic feet per day. During the same period, the spot price of U.S. natural gas has remained stable and affordable. Unfortunately, these cargoes were threatened in January 2024 when the Biden-Harris administration succumbing to political pressure and announced an indefinite ban on LNG export authorizations. During the ban, Russia overtook the U.S. as the lead gas supplier to Europe. Long-term American contracts were jeopardized, and American and global buyers were forced to look elsewhere for less clean sources. H.R. 1949, led by the gentleman from Texas, would ensure a ban is never placed on U.S. LNG exports again. By removing DOE from the process, export restrictions would be repealed, and LNG exports would have equal treatment with other commodities like crude oil. Nothing in this legislation limits the authority of the President to impose sanctions on a foreign government to prohibit imports or exports if needed. Additionally, this legislation does not affect existing FERC authorities or procedures for reviewing or altering the export facility for environment or safety purposes. Excuse me. Like LNG export facilities, American refineries have played a critical and crucial role in providing secure, affordable, and high-value petroleum products to global consumers. However, a new major refinery has not been built in the United States since the 1970s. Meanwhile, the U.S. Energy Information Agency Administration, EIA, projects global demand for liquefied fuels to increase by 20 million barrels per day by 2050. The United States must be able to meet this moment. However, hostile regulatory environments like those in California have shuttered critical refineries and deterred investment in new infrastructure. California used to be home to 40 refineries in the 1980s. This number has decreased to 14 as of last year, with 2 additional refineries that could close by early 2026. The anticipated closure of the Phillips 66 and Valero refineries will disrupt fuel supplies and increase energy prices. Further, a lack of pipeline connectivity, boutique blending requirements, gas taxes, and restrictive regulations have resulted in California becoming an energy island. In fact, the state imports over 60% of its crude oil from foreign countries like Iraq, Brazil, and Saudi Arabia. As energy companies choose to do business more in more reasonable states, Californians should unfortunately expect even higher fuel prices. It is important that we understand the challenges to increasing U.S. refining capacity. My bill, 3109, will require the National Petroleum Council to examine the role of our current refining fleet, opportunity to expand capacity, and detailed challenges and risks to those facilities. A lack of capacity along the West Coast has resulted in fuel price volatility in the region and increased the importation of fuel supplies, often coming from countries with significantly less stringent environmental and labor standards than the United States. We cannot let the rest of the country follow suit. Both LNG exports and U.S. refining capacity unequivocally benefit our economy, domestic prices, and allies around the world. I urge all of my colleagues to join me in supporting H.R. 1949 and H.R. 3109, and I thank you, and I yield back the balance of my time.